Hickok 45 here. Welcome to the Hickok 45 Talks channel. That's where you are. Yeah, over here where I talk about something. And don't confuse it with shooting videos. Don't get mad because I'm not shooting. I don't have to shoot if I don't want to. And another news flash, you don't have to watch these talks videos if you don't want to. Come on, people. That's only a couple of people get upset. Some people get upset. They would get upset if you announced you're going to be handing out $100 bills on Broadway in Nashville tonight. Come down and get some. They'd complain that, I don't know, I was on the wrong corner, or or wasn't handing them out fast enough or something. It's just people aren't. But anyway, it's great to be in a free country. I'm going to briefly hit this one again. It just so happened, and I was scanning around, and this video on what's it called, $500 rifle or $600 rifle versus $2,000 or $3,000 rifle. We have several videos like that. They continue. If I happen into one, or one gets busy and it pops up and you see a comment or whatever. They continue to interest me, I guess, perplex me, comments you see from a human interest standpoint, a psychologist's standpoint. Am I a psychologist? I should be the subject of a psychiatric encyclopedia probably, but I don't know. I guess I just don't get it because it's kind of foreign to me. I'm probably envious myself in some ways. I don't think I really am, but as I've said before, there's only one human really on the planet that. Let me get a cup. Sip of my coffee. There's basically one human that I can think of I've ever been envious of. Got my Texas cup out again. Y'all don't see the Texas in the other videos. It's my favorite coffee cup. Not just because it says Texas on it, but it's perfect size, weight, and everything. Oh yeah, Hugh Hefner, of course, the only person I've been envious of. But anyway, I saw a comment. Now I saw another one, or one I'd already saved, and I'd had in. I pull out comments to maybe talk about at some point in a talks video or something. And there's another one, so I captured it too. And I'll be darned if I think it was like within the same day as I was looking and found that comment, there was another interesting comment on that video. I believe it was that same one, the comparison video. But anyway, so I've got all three of those together, and in one I had to kind of paraphrase. I'd gone away from it and couldn't find the exact quotation, but self-awareness. I try to be self-aware, aware of my foibles, my limitations, my negatives, maybe my positives if I have any. It seems like that would be anybody's goal on this planet, to just try to be self-aware and figure out what makes us tick, makes ourselves tick. It helps with your life, I would think. Help with being more successful in whatever way you want to be successful. Kind of figure out what it is you're doing wrong. You can't get a date, or all the women you date don't want to see you again, for example, or every job you get doesn't last long. They let you go, right? You get fired. Or nobody seems to want to talk to you. I don't know. Do you have BO, bad breath, or you just, what is it, that isn't working, for you or me or whatever. And so in terms of self-awareness, I think that's kind of what I think about. It's kind of figuring out yourself, what it is you're good at, what you're not good at, and adjust accordingly, if it makes sense, or don't adjust. At least be aware of it so that you know where you might need to improve, if you want to succeed at some specific thing, venture. I don't know. Anyway, so kind of self awareness is important, I think. Um, just being aware of your strengths and weaknesses and all that kind of. But anyway, these comments. I've talked about this before. I'll give you the negative ones first that we see too many of. Right. This is again on a comparison between inexpensive rifle and really pretty expensive rifle. You know. And one of the comments had to do said that whatever $2,000 or $3,000 is a lot of money just for bragging rights. And that wasn't all the comment I remember, but it was it was just really clear that this person thinks that that's the only reason you would spend $2,000 or $3,000 on a rifle for bragging rights. Okay, that tells me something about him, her, him, I think probably. Then another one, same video. Anybody who owns, I think it was the Seiko in that video, but anybody who owns that Seiko would be a pretentious bleep. Yeah, R-rated word. So in other words, you would be pretentious. So he's really, he's the guy that really resents people having something nicer than what he has, I guess. You're a pretentious prick. Okay, if you have a $3,000 rifle, 2,000, whatever. Okay, so these are fairly recent comments. All through the years, you see things like that, and it's not just our videos on that topic. I'm sure you've seen that kind of thing on other videos. Someone does a video on a really nice gun or a nice car, nice anything, right? And you end up with that sort of thing. Sorry, you're not on my phone. You don't get answered. But here's the contrast I'm getting at. Here's a comment, and I copy and pasted it exactly. I should give this guy. I tend not to pull off usernames, so I'm not going to use usernames, or share them. But I shared this guy. He says, this is fairly recent. Do I need an expensive hunting rifle? Nope. Fact is, I've never owned anything worth even what that Ruger is worth. Speaking of the Ruger American, mine is a hand-me-down sporterized Enfield 30-06 Eddystone factory, but that's another tale. Would it be nice to own an expensive hunting rifle? Sure would one day, and I probably will. Sure would one day. I probably will, even though I don't hunt anymore. I just like nice firearms and would spend the money if I had it to spend. So what's wrong with this guy? How mature does that sound? It restores your faith in humanity, doesn't it? And it just provided such a stark contrast for me. When I read that, I thought, oh, here we go again. Do I need an expensive hunting rifle? Oh, here's another envy-filled human being. And then I thought, oh, okay. Imagine that. Somebody who has some common sense, some maturity, some self-awareness, right? Realizing something, they don't need anything that expensive. They've done fine with their old sporterized 30-06 Enfield. But would it be nice to own an expensive hunting rifle? Sure would. One day I probably will, even though I don't hunt anymore. I just like nice firearms, and I'd spend the money if I had it. Yeah. So I think that's probably what percentage would it be? A massively large percentage of us gun owners would be. That's what we think about. That's what most people have as an attitude, I think. It could be you see I don't know what kind of car it would be, your bucket list car, if you had a lot of money or something, a Lamborghini or Rolls Royce or Maserati or something like that. And if you even wanted one, but you might say, wow, that's a cool car. I definitely don't have a need for that, but that is really cool. And if I had the money, yeah, I might buy that. But I don't sit around, or you wouldn't, and we wouldn't sit around just commiserating about that schmuck who has it and can afford a Maserati or whatever, and resent that person, right? So, how does it relate to self awareness? Again, maturity is a big factor, life experience is a big factor, but it still bothers me that there's that much envy in the world, and and self a lack of self awareness that you would make comments like that. That's I always tend to think, well, if even if I thought that guy is an idiot, I hate him because he's got something I can't afford. I I wouldn't verbalize it. I would think it maybe. Well, I wouldn't think it, but if I did have thoughts like that, or even came close to thoughts of not liking that person or hating that person because they had something I can't afford, I would quickly catch my brain myself. And oh, no, wait a minute. That's not me. I'm happy for him, her, it. Envy is such a distasteful characteristic, and it still amazes me that people can be that way and don't even realize it, or if they do, they don't even hesitate to share it. To share that wonderful attitude. I think it just speaks volumes. It speaks volumes to me. Uh, like the one who said that when you spend that kind of money just for bragging rights. I think it tells you something about people. It's like, and I have been known to answer some people this way, whether on Facebook or in a comment that come up with this business about some of the stupid Freudian stuff about firearms with long barrels, handguns with long barrels. You try to make up for your own inadequacy, having a gun to begin with, or a firearm with a long barrel. All that the mythological things, and and I sometimes turn that around if I'm in a mood to answer it. I said, well, I didn't. In fact, one the other day, I answered a fellow, obviously anti-gun. I was just informing him. Said, well, I got some really bad news for you. You apparently, I said something like this. It's obvious that you feel like having a firearm or a long-barreled handgun or whatever would enhance your manhood and that kind of thing, but you know, we folks in the farms community can tell you, no, it's not about that. It doesn't do that for you. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hopefully you can get help elsewhere, or something like that. So wherever you got that idea and you're thinking about it, no, it doesn't work. So where'd you get that idea? And like this with I didn't buy one of those just for bragging rights. Well, that tells me, sorry, buddy, that you feel like you need something like that so that you can brag about it, so that you have bragging rights. Is that why I mean, that must be his impression of something. The only reason he would buy a nicer car than his neighbor would be for bragging rights, or a nicer gun would be so that he could brag about it. I mean, that's kind of what I infer from that, right? So again, that all gets into self-awareness. It's not even being aware that you're really just sort of projecting your own issues onto other people. So anyway, be self-aware, and my gosh, don't be envious. Wow, what an unattractive quality. Well, no, wait a minute, it's not a quality, it's a characteristic, human trait, right? It's one of those that we should be trying to beat down. We all have tendencies towards lots of things, right? And as we hopefully mature, become more experienced in life, and realize how life really works, and what's important, what's not so important, if we do suffer from things like that a little, I think we get over it pretty much. We even get to the point where we are happy for other people's good fortune, right? We should be happy for their good fortune. Anyway, there I go again, throwing philosophy at you. my opinions. Glad you had to sit and listen. Life is good.